Atelier Ryza, Everdarkness, and the Secret Hideout. This is the first game in the latest series to follow spunky young alchemists as they go on adventures. There's some changes to the tried and true formula here, and I know some people weren't happy about that. But is Ryza worthy to carry on the Atelier legacy? Let's find out. Since I want these reviews to be standalone, I want to first briefly go over what the Atelier games are. They're kind of a subgenre of the jrpg called slice of life games. They're character driven and more real world than many traditional RPGs. Yeah, there's still conflict and combat, but you're rarely trying to prevent the apocalypse with your team of spunky teenagers. As I mentioned earlier, Ryza is a bit of a departure for this series. The first and most widely liked by the community is that Ryza is more mature than previous protagonists, at least as far as physical development goes. Her voluptuous figure and thick thighs, as they say, have provided more than one Twitter artist great inspiration. Beyond the title character, the supporting cast, they're all sporting your usual anime-style costumes, and I think they look pretty good. The world is also quite wonderful. I was almost immediately struck by the charm of the area immediately surrounding Ryza's family home. There are trees and windmills, as well as fields and crops, as I think her father's a farmer, if I recall. The areas adjacent, where most of your early game adventuring takes place, are similarly well realized. There is a variety from flowery fields to dank caves with interconnecting zones that always seem to make sense. There's also a photo mode that I have spent more time than I'd care to admit posing the party in front of some of my favorite set pieces that I've found out in the game world. The sound design also hits the mark. The soundtrack has a nice range of soothing, peaceful tracks for crafting, whimsical and exciting ones for exploration, and what you'd come to expect for JRPG as far as battle music goes. One audio tidbit that I always appreciate in games is when characters call out to one another in battle. It's here, fits in somewhat of a basic form, but it adds to the immersion, and it's by no means super contextually variable. I mean, they pretty much have a few sayings that they say, but it's just a little tidbit that I enjoyed. Before we hit on the big controversial change, I'd like to just take a moment here, invite you, if you're liking the video so far, maybe consider subscribing, throwing a like. It helps me know exactly what content people are enjoying and what they're not so much enjoying. While combat is not the main draw of the Atelier games, it is where the more controversial change occurs. Previous titles like Sophie, they were turn-based. Ryza here has ditched the true turn-based model for an active turn-based system. The difference at first kind of sounds like splitting hairs and kind of sounds trivial, but I mentioned in my review of Sophie that the ability to take as long as I wanted to make my decisions, it really added to the relaxing, mellow vibe that these games, they strive for that. The active turn system works pretty well here in Ryza. Their AI teammates, they're no slouches when it comes to taking care of themselves. If this is your first Atelier game, you'll be fine. It's just something that a lot of the old-timers lament, and to be honest, I kind of see where they're coming from now. The combat is very satisfying, especially when you enhance it with your growing alchemical skill. Even outside of battle, alchemy is very useful in the Atelier universe and is a very large part of the plot of Ryza. Early on, you'll be tasked with creating items above a certain quality level to help NPCs with problems they may be having. A leaky basement or a need for medicine, that sort of thing. This does a great job of capturing that slice of life feel, as well as making alchemy feel like a major skill, instead of just a stat number you only think about when you need to whip up healing potions like in a lot of other games. Also, at least for me, being an alchemist fulfilling requests feels less grindy than the standard go kill 5 deer quest that plagues many RPGs. It's probably just a technicality, but for me it felt more satisfying. Overall, I think Ryza is a joy to play and definitely worth a purchase. I look forward to playing her sequel, and hopefully many more games get made starring the cast of Atelier Ryza and the Everdarkness and the Secret Hideout. Until next time, I've been Septimus with the Grim Alliance, and you have all been an amazing audience. I thank you.